Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be using a lot of my favorite products from the Wet n Wild line. I think this is one of the best drugstore brands that's out there that really delivers really good products. So what I did is I went ahead and went through my makeup collection. I picked out a bunch of stuff that I really love from Wet n Wild, and I wanted to go ahead and do a makeup look using those products today. I do want to mention that I have some eyeshadow trios from Wet n Wild that I've not used ever. So you will see me using one of those in the video. So yeah, if you want to see how I got this look and you want to see all my favorite products from Wet n Wild, then just keep watching. So let's go ahead and get started. For primer today, I am using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Rose 3-in-1 Primer Water. You guys have heard me talk about this a lot. I have actually used quite a few of these, and this is actually my last one. So I'm going to have to go buy another one just to have on backup because I do love this primer water. I think it's just as good as the Smashbox one. We spray this all over, and then we'll just let that dry. And I love that it smells like roses. It's really refreshing. It's one of those nice scents for spring, and it is a good product. So let's go ahead and get eye primer. So I don't have a Wet n Wild eye primer. I actually had one. I used it all up, and I never repurchased that product. And I'm sure it's because I have so many other primers from the drugstore that I like better. So today I'm not going to actually go in with a Wet n Wild primer, but I am going to go in with this NYX Proof It primer. This is one of my favorite primers, especially for the summer, like when it's really hot outside. This stuff really allows your eyeshadow to stay in place, and it's waterproof. So if you're going to go to the beach, you're going to go to the pool, this is a really good primer to use on your eyelids. And I just press it in with my finger. This is a clear primer, so it's not going to show like any pigment on your eyes. It's not going to cover any darkness on your eyes. It's just a very clear primer. So if you're not into this and you're looking more for a pigmented primer, then NYX does have a primer that's in a pot that's actually like a nude shade, and I think they have a white one and a black one as well. So let's go ahead and get started with eyeshadow. I do have these limited edition eyeshadow palettes. They're called the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Eyeshadow Trios. I have 3 of them here. I'll show them to you, but these are it right here. I did receive one of these from my friend Jwls. I can't remember which one it was. I don't know if it was the purple or the green. I can't remember. She did buy me one of these, and the other 2 I actually purchased at the Five Below store, and I purchased those 2 because they did have quite a few of these in stock. So I do want to use these today because I've never used them before. I just recently did a green eye look, so I want to go ahead and try this purple and this pink. So the ones that I'm going to use are Rose Quartz, and the other one's called Amethyst. And we're going to go ahead and use those 2 today. Now these, because they come in 3 shades, they don't really have a transition shade in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and use a transition shade from one of these palettes that I have here. These are the Wet n Wild 10 Pan eyeshadow palettes. I have 3 of them here. I've actually used these 2, and then this purple one I haven't actually used. Now these were also limited edition. They were from their Halloween line, but they do sell some shadows that are very close to the ones that are limited edition. They might even be the same ones, they just gave them different names. This one's called Wizards in Training, and then the green one I have is called the Boo Crew, and then the last one I have is called Coffin Break. I do want to tell you the name of the green one that I have in the trio, and it's called Jade. But these are super pretty. I just haven't used them, and I really wanted to use them today since we're doing all Wet n Wild products. Now before we go into eyeshadow, I don't have a Wet n Wild eyebrow pencil, and I don't have a Wet n Wild pore primer. So today we're going to use the Morphe eyebrow pencil, and we're going to use the e.l.f. matte pore primer, and I'm going to go ahead and put those on really quickly, and then I'll come back and we'll get started with eyeshadow. Alright guys, brows are done. We're going to go ahead and start with eyeshadow. Okay, so I'm going to go into Wizards in Training, and I'm going to go ahead and use this shade right here. That's actually going to be my transition shade. And I'm using this Morphe E28 brush to actually place that on my, or in my crease. I tried these 10 pan palettes before, and they never really worked for me. I always felt like they just did not have that pigmentation and they were really hard to like blend. But with these that came out as a limited edition 10 pan, they just seemed like they were a little bit more pigmented and a lot easier to use. And I just found them to be a really nice palette. So I don't know if they completely changed the formula for all the 10 pan palettes. I just know that the original ones I really had a hard time using. Okay, before we go any further with the eyes, I'm going to put on this Wet n Wild lip treatment. This is what it looks like, and this is one of my favorite lip treatments, especially for putting this on my lips while I'm doing my makeup. It feels really good. So I'm going to start off with the Rose Quartz palette. The palette comes with 3 shimmer shades, but these are more shimmery than this one. So I'm going to take this shade right here. I'm going to go ahead and blend it into this darker shade that I use for my transition color. And it is a kind of like a shimmer shade, but it's not too shimmery. It's really softening up that shade there. That looks really pretty on top of that. So I'm going to take this Morphe M433 brush and I'm going to go into the Amethyst palette. Uh-oh. Oh no. I just opened this and look what happened. It just crumbled. That stinks. That's horrible. Okay, well, I'm not going to use the purple one today, so we're just going to stick with the Rose Quartz palette. And we're also going to stick with this palette as well. So I want to just deepen up the corner here, and I'm going to go into this shade right here. And I'm using this M433 brush. I'm just going to concentrate this on the corner of my eye. And I am bringing it in to the crease a little bit, but I'm not bringing all the color in. I'm focusing just mainly here for the color to be a little bit darker, and then whatever I have left over, I'm just bringing it into the crease. Just like that. So now we're going to go back into the Rose Quartz palette. I think I'm going to, let me grab a brush here. Let me center myself. I'm using the MAC 242. I'm going to go into this shade here. I'm going to put that on the lid. That's really pretty. So I really like the pigmentation of this eyeshadow, but I want to go ahead and wet my brush just to see if I can intensify it a little bit more. I'm just going to take this mini bottle of MAC Fix Plus, and I'm just going to wet the brush. It gave it a little bit more intensity, but not too much, but it's still really beautiful. I love that. Super, super pretty. Okay, so now we're going to move on to foundation. I am using my favorite foundation from Wet n Wild called the Photo Focus Dewy Foundation. I have mine in the shade Desert Beige. I also have Caramel, which is a little bit darker, but it's going to be perfect for the summer. So I'm just going to shake this up a little bit, and I'm just going to go ahead and place that on my skin. And then I've got one of my favorite sponges, and it's the Wet n Wild sponge. I love this sponge for applying my foundation. It's one of the best sponges out there on the market for drugstore sponges. If you haven't tried this one, I would definitely try it, and I think it's only like $5. This foundation just looks so beautiful on the skin. It gives you that beautiful, healthy glow without looking like greasy or anything like that. It just looks so pretty. Bring it down on my ears. And I'm just going to put just a little bit more. I wanted to show you guys another primer by Wet n Wild that I absolutely love, and I've been using it a lot, but I wanted to use something different today, and it's the Wet n Wild Prime Focus Primer Serum. This is so good, guys. I especially love that primer serum with the Dewy foundation, but like I said, I wanted to use that Rose 3-in-1 spray today because that's something that I've always loved and used from Wet n Wild. I do need a concealer, and I don't have a Wet n Wild concealer that I like, so I do want to go in with an affordable concealer for you guys. So I am going to go ahead and use the e.l.f. Camo concealer. This is an affordable concealer, but a great concealer for the price. This is not the hydrating one because the hydrating one doesn't do really well on my under eyes, but this is the original one, and I'm going in with medium sand, and it is very light. So I do have another one called tan sand, and I'm going to use that one on top just to kind of mix it up a little bit, and this one's really dark, so I'm mixing these two up. I do have medium beige, but I think that's going to be way too light as well. So I'm going to go ahead and press that into the under eyes. So yeah, I've used Wet n Wild concealers, and I just don't have one that I really love. I hope they come out with more concealers. They have a lot of lipsticks, a lot of eyeshadow palettes, but they don't really have a lot of like concealers. And they do have some really good foundations, but I think they really need to get on the ball and get some new concealers out. So I am going to go in with the e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer to touch up in those areas where I have hyperpigmentation. This one's called Medium Sand. I probably need a little bit darker shade because it is light, but for now it will work. I might have a tan sand around here somewhere. I just need to look for it. That probably would be better because it is a little bit darker than this one. It still has really good coverage though. I'm going to put a little bit up here, a little more on my nose. All right, that'll do for the coverage part. Okay, so I am gonna set my foundation. I'm going in with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Banana Powder. I have really been loving this powder to set my under eyes and to set my foundation. It does have a yellow tint to it, but it's not one of those powders that's really yellow, so it's a very light yellow. So you're not gonna see like really dark yellow under your eyes. I'm gonna use this small tapered brush by e.l.f. Just gonna dip brush in there and then press that into the eye. I was really impressed with this powder. I really feel like it's really finely milled. It just sets my concealer so well. I have not used it with the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, so it looks like it might be a little bit drying compared to when I used like a more hydrating concealer. But either way, I'm gonna leave it on because it doesn't look really bad. It just looks a little bit more drying than normal. So I'm just using that same brush to press the powder into the skin. I just love that soft look that this powder gives my skin. It's a very like matte look. It's not like a flat matte. It's just really nice and soft looking. So now I'm gonna go in with one of my other favorite products, and it's the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette Contour. And this one is actually in the this one's actually in the shade Dulce de Leche. They do actually have a darker one. I have tried that before, but I think it's like just way too dark for me. So I'm going in with this Japanese pointed tapered brush. I just actually put it on the tip of that brush. This just gives like a really like light contour. It's not too harsh on the skin. You know, it doesn't have that like gray or, you know, very shadowed look. I just don't like a really gray contour. I'll put some on my chin. This does come with like a banana powder, but I like the other powder better than this one. I think this one right here is just a little bit more finely milled and it's just softer. So I like that one better. So for bronzer today, I am going in with the Palm Beach Ready Bronzer. I thought these were actually going to be limited edition, but they're not. They do have these in store and on their website. So you can buy this like at Walgreens, Walmart, pretty much anywhere. I'm going to use this Japanese large tapered brush, and I'm just going to add this all over for an all bronze glow. This is really pretty. It's not too dark of a bronzer where you feel like it's just gonna look too harsh. It does have some glow to it, as you can see. So if you're not into a bronzer that's really glowy, then this is probably not gonna be the one for you. But to me, I think it just leaves a beautiful glow on the skin, and it does add a little bit of warmth to my skin. So I think it's really pretty. For highlight, I am gonna go in with this Halo highlighter. This is a liquid highlighter. I did buy a darker shade, but this is the shade that I really, really like. This one's called Goddess Glow. I'm gonna go ahead and shake this up pretty good. I'm just gonna press this like that on my cheeks. I'm gonna take my beauty sponge, just press that into the skin. Yeah, I really like this liquid highlighter. I think it's like one of the best. There's like so many out there, but this one is really beautiful and it's affordable. It does exactly what I'd like it to do. Give me that really pretty glow. So for blush, I am going to use one of the new blushes. I don't know if these are new formula or if this is just like a new packaging. The original blushes came in that square packaging. These are in like circle packaging. So I am going to use these today because I've really been loving these blushes. I love the old ones as well. I think the formula of the old ones are really good, and these are just as good. So if you haven't tried the new ones, I would definitely pick some up because they are really good blushes. They last pretty much all day on the skin, and yeah, they're just really pretty. So let me get a blush brush. I'm gonna go in with this e.l.f. blush brush, and today I'm gonna go in with the shade Nudist Society. It's this shade here. I think this is just such a beautiful blush shade. I just felt like it's gonna go really well with this eye look because the eyes are so bold. Okay, that's it for blush. I'm gonna go on top of this highlighter with another highlighter. I've always loved the highlighting powders from Wet n Wild. I'm gonna go in with Golden Flower Crown. I think I'm gonna use this one because it'll go really good with that highlighter. So I did decide to use the Golden Flower Crown. This is the shade. I think this one's gonna go really good with that liquid highlighter. And I'm using this Morphe, what is this, an M510 brush. Just putting that on top. Oh yeah, that goes really nice with that. Now guys, this is for a more intense highlight. If you don't want to put extra highlight, you don't have to. I just like a really good highlight some days. I'm gonna put some on my lips, some on my nose, a little bit above my brow. So that's some beaming highlight right there, but I'm not mad at it. I think it looks really good. All right, so let's go ahead and what's next? Lips. So for lips, I am going to go in with this Wet n Wild Gel Lip Liner. This is in Bear to Comment. This is one of my favorite lip liners from the Wet n Wild line. So I'm going to go ahead and just line my lips. And they are super creamy and very pigmented. So for lipstick, I'm going to go in with the new Wet n Wild lipstick. And this one's called Peach Please. I love this shade. As you can see, it's like flattened because I use it a lot. Such a pretty color. So I do have a lip gloss by them. I think this one was actually limited edition. It's called Featherless, but their Color Icon lip glosses are really good. So I did want to use this one today. So creamy. These have like such good pigmentation. But yeah, this one was part of a limited edition, so sorry guys. I really didn't want to use limited edition, but I did want to try those eyeshadows that were limited edition, and yeah. All right, so I'm gonna finish off the eyes. I do want to blend my shadow out a little bit more. I'm taking this clean brush by Morphe, it's an E23, and I want to just blend this shadow. I just feel like this corner right here looks a little harsh. Okay, so that is way better. Now I'm going to go back into this Wizards in Training palette. I'm using this Wet n Wild P10 pencil brush. I have more of these brushes and I should have used them in this video. I think I have like 2 more. But anyway, I'm using one of them. I'm using the pencil one. So I guess what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go into this shade right here. And I'm gonna put that on my lower lash line. And now I'm going to go into this purple shade here. I want to mix that into that shade that I just laid down. Blend it really, really well. Okay, and then to set my makeup, I'm going to go back into the rose spray. And then I'm going to use this fan to actually dry it. Alright guys, this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed me using a lot of my favorite products from the Wet n Wild line. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.